Today we'll be going over variables, expressions, and equations. Normally we see math as numbers. Sometimes in math we can see numbers as variables, meaning they are represented by a letter. One example is x plus y. In this example, x can be any number and y can be any number. Meaning if x equals 3 and y equals 7, then we would have 3 plus 7. Another example would be if x equaled 3 and y equaled 4, then we would have 3 plus 4. Excuse me. Meaning a variable can represent any number. An example of this is right here where we have x plus y, and then we have x equaling 3 and y equaling 7. X plus y would then look like 3 plus 7. For our second example, we had x plus y where x equaled 3 and y equaled 4. So then our x plus y would look like 3 plus 4. All right, and that brings us on to our expressions. An expression explains a relationship. Variables are used in expressions. They describe a relationship between two items. For example, if you were going to build a doghouse that required 3 boards, then we could say that D stands for the doghouse and 3 stands for the boards. So D times 3 would equal the relationship between the boards needed and the doghouses. So if D equaled 1, then 1 times 3 would equal 3 boards needed. That would mean that we could make 1 doghouse. Now let's say we needed to make 10 doghouses. Well, then D would equal 10, and then 10 times 3 would equal 30 boards needed to make those 10 doghouses. So the expression determines the relationship between the two items or more than 2 items. It just determines the relationship between the quantities. We can see that example here where we have D representing the doghouses and it equals 1 here. D equals 1. So we have 1 times 3. And then we have D equals 10 here. We have 10 times 3. So that shows the expression. Okay. Now we're going to go on to the equation part of it. An equation is made from an expression and it uses variables. And this is the actual solving of the problem. We will go ahead and use the examples from earlier where we had x plus y and we had 3 plus 4. And now we have that it equals a certain amount, which is 7. That's an actual equation. You could manipulate this and just put y here, and then you'll be able to find out what y was by having the equal amount and the 3. And we'll be going over that in class. And we have 3 plus 7 equals 10. And we'll definitely be going over that where you can solve for a certain variable later on. But right now we're just seeing how the equation actually looks. So we have 3 plus 7 equals 10. Here is our relationship with the doghouses, or our expression with the doghouses. And that is D times 3, where we had 1 doghouse and we had 3 boards. So we needed 3 boards total to make 1 doghouse. And then we were finding out how many boards we needed to make 10 doghouses. And we had 10 times 3, which equals 30 boards needed to make 10 doghouses. So in conclusion, a variable can represent any number and can be represented with any letter A through Z. Variables are used in expressions to determine relationships between 2 or more quantities. And expressions form equations, which we use to solve for a solution to the relationships between quantities. A variable can be A through Z. Expression is A plus Y plus Z. And the actual equation would be A plus Y plus Z equals a certain amount. So feel free to manipulate different variables in your expressions to find different equations. And when you come to class, write down any questions we have, and we'll actually put this concept into play and do some examples together where you can see the application of it. All right. Thank you so much, and look forward to seeing you in class tomorrow.